Just 3 minutes ago, the world stopped as Prince William stepped into the spotlight, his voice trembling yet resolute, to expose the Queen's final, heart-wrenching words about his estranged brother, Harry. What if the monarchy's future hinged on a single desperate chance? This isn't just gossip, it's a seismic revelation that could shatter the House of Windsor forever, pulling back the curtain on secrets buried in palace shadows. Brace yourself for the emotional rollercoaster that redefines royal loyalty and betrayal. Before we go deeper into what this really means for the royal family, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss a single update. The air hung thick with anticipation that fateful afternoon as William emerged unannounced before a swarm of journalists, his face etched with a mix of determination and sorrow. He gripped a crumpled note tightly, a relic from his late grandmother, the Queen, whose wisdom now fueled this bold move. Whispers had circulated for months about family tensions, but no one expected this raw exposure. William's hands shook slightly, betraying the storm raging inside him as cameras clicked relentlessly, capturing every flicker of vulnerability. He paused, drawing a deep breath, before unleashing the truth that had simmered in silence for too long. At the heart of it all lay the Queen's private confession to William, delivered in her weakening days, about granting Harry one last opportunity to reclaim his place in the fold. This wasn't a simple olive branch. It came wrapped in stringent demands that pitted familial bonds against the unyielding demands of royal obligation. She had outlined paths for redemption, public contrition, a return to duties, perhaps even a vow of discretion, but each condition carried the sharp edge of consequence. William recounted her words with a voice cracking under emotion, painting a picture of a grandmother desperate to heal her divided lineage, yet acutely aware of the throne's fragility. The revelation hit like a thunderclap, forcing everyone to question how far blood could stretch before it snapped. Suspicion built as we flash back to those hushed exchanges in Buckingham's echoing halls, where aides murmured about Harry's defiant choices, his explosive interviews, his life across the ocean that had pushed the family to this brink. These weren't mere disagreements, they were fractures widening over years, each one hinting at deeper grievances left unspoken for now. The Queen's ultimatum didn't emerge from nowhere. It stemmed from accumulated betrayals, small at first, then swelling into threats that could topple reputations. William's eyes glistened as he spoke, evoking her fragile tone, a blend of tender affection for both grandsons and the crushing burden of sovereignty she bore alone for decades. Love clashed with legacy in her final plea, tearing at William's soul as he absorbed the weight of being her chosen confidant. The world erupted in response, social platforms ablaze with hashtags and heated debates, experts dissecting every syllable, while crowds outside the palace mirrored the divide, some rooting for Harry's comeback, others staunchly behind William's steadfastness. Sympathies clashed like waves against rocks, amplifying the drama into a global spectacle. Yet amid the chaos, William hesitated mid-sentence, a moment pregnant with unspoken pain, foreshadowing the quiet concessions he'd endured to shield the monarchy's polished exterior from crumbling. His silence spoke volumes, hinting at nights lost to worry, alliances strained, all to preserve a unity now hanging by a thread. Then came the twist that chilled the room. The Queen's message concealed a veiled alert, not mere guidance, but a dire prophecy of scandals waiting to unleash if Harry spurned this lifeline: leaks, exposures, perhaps even irreparable damage to the crown's aura. It transformed her words from compassionate to calculated, a strategic safeguard against total unraveling. The air grew heavier, the implications sinking in like shadows lengthening at dusk. But to understand the gravity of William's words, we must delve into the fractured bond between the brothers, a rift that began in childhood innocence, but erupted into a storm threatening the throne itself. Imagine two princes, once inseparable playmates in palace gardens, now locked in a silent war that echoes through history's grandest halls. What dark forces tore William and Harry apart? This section uncovers the hidden fractures, from playful rivalries to explosive betrayals, setting the stage for the Queen's intervention. Prepare for a gut-wrenching journey into jealousy, loss, and the unspoken pains that could doom a dynasty, because every family secret has a breaking point. Those early days shimmered with promise, two boys chasing dreams amid Kensington's splendor, their laughter blending with the weight of destiny. Yet even then, subtle shadows crept in media eyes, dissecting every step. Royal protocols nurturing a quiet competition where William, the heir, learned poise while Harry played the spare. Joy masked the brewing storm, as expectations carved invisible lines between them, turning brotherly games into rehearsals for a divided future. The bond held firm, but cracks formed under the pressure, hinting at resentments that time would only deepen. Then, tragedy struck like a dagger. Diana's death bound them in shared grief, a fragile glue that pulled them closer in the immediate aftermath, whispering promises of eternal support amid the chaos. They walked together behind her coffin, hearts raw, the world watching their unity as a beacon. But as years unfolded, the sorrow twisted paths apart. William stepped into the role of steadfast guardian, embracing the crown's demands with grim resolve, while Harry chafed against the invisible chains, his rebellion simmering like a fire ready to ignite. The loss that once united them now sowed discord, each brother processing pain in ways that pulled them further from shared ground, foreshadowing a chasm no one could bridge alone. Fast forward to brighter moments that hid darker undercurrents: Harry's wedding to Meghan, a spectacle of love that promised renewal. Yet beneath the vows lurked William's unspoken reservations. He smiled for the cameras, but doubt gnawed at him, sensing shifts in Harry's allegiance that could unravel their fragile ties. The fairy tale facade cracked with private whispers of concern, William fearing the union might fuel Harry's drift from duty. A premonition of storms ahead that left him aching with unspoken warnings. Tensions boiled over in the wake of Megxit, public clashes ripping open old wounds as Harry's candid revelations accused the family of indifference and worse, painting William as part of an uncaring machine. Betrayal stung deep. William felt abandoned, his isolation growing in the echo of those interviews that turned private hurts into ammunition. The conflict wasn't just words, it was a raw unraveling, each accusation widening the gulf, leaving scars that pulsed with every headline. Behind those gilded doors, tempers flared in fierce exchanges, Harry pushing for parity in a system built on ranks, while William stood firm, defending the order that defined their lives. These clashes, known only to insiders, revealed the core fracture: equality versus tradition, freedom clashing with obligation, each brother convinced of his righteousness yet haunted by the cost. And through it all, the media loomed as the ultimate antagonist, magnifying slips into scandals, transforming personal anguish into relentless entertainment that fed the divide. Every misstep became fodder, twisting grief into spectacle, ensuring no healing could occur in peace. Yet as fractures spread, faint murmurs reached the Queen, her watchful gaze noting the growing peril from her distant perch, igniting thoughts of a desperate measure, a final chance to salvage what remained before total collapse. As the divide deepened, the Queen could no longer stand idly by. Her wisdom, forged in decades of reigning over turmoil, compelled her to summon William for a conversation that would alter the course of royal history. In the dim-lit chambers of Windsor Castle, the Queen, frail but fierce, pulled William aside for a clandestine meeting that would redefine family loyalty. What did she truly say about Harry's fate? This expose dives into her unfiltered thoughts, revealing a monarch torn between grandmotherly love and sovereign duty. Get ready for shocking insights into her strategic mind, because when a queen speaks of final chances, it's not mercy, it's a high-stakes gamble that could crown or crumble legacies. The private study enveloped them like a vault of centuries, every polished surface and ancient portrait bearing silent witness to the burdens she had carried alone. Heavy drapes muffled the outside world, leaving only the soft tick of a clock and the faint rustle of papers to underscore the gravity of what unfolded. She sat upright despite the years etched into her frame, eyes sharp with the clarity that had guided nations through crisis after crisis. William approached with reverence, yet the air crackled with unspoken dread as she gestured for him to sit close. This was no ordinary conversation. It was a sovereign entrusting her heir with the fragile thread holding the family together. Her voice, though softened by age, cut through the stillness with precision. She spoke of Harry's wayward path not with anger, but with a measured sorrow that made every word land heavier. Hints slipped out like shadows, choices that courted danger, alliances that challenged tradition, freedoms seized at the expense of duty. She refused to name every fault outright, letting the omissions build a chilling suspense, forcing William to fill in the blanks with memories of heated exchanges and public storms. Each veiled reference tightened the knot in his chest, reminding him how far the once close brothers had drifted. William knelt briefly in respect, a gesture born of instinct. But beneath it surged a torrent of conflict. His pulse hammered as loyalty warred within him defend the brother he still loved fiercely, or safeguard the crown she had defended her entire life. Tears threatened as he listened, the weight of her trust pressing down like stone. He wanted to interrupt, to plead for leniency, yet he remained silent, absorbing the raw truth that love alone could no longer mend what had broken. Then came the conditions, delivered with the calm authority of someone who had seen empires rise and fall. Harry's return demanded public contrition, a formal acknowledgement of missteps, and the surrender of certain liberties that had defined his new life. These were not gentle suggestions, they were non-negotiable barriers, each one clashing violently with the independence Harry had fought so hard to claim. The Queen laid them out methodically, her tone never wavering, yet her eyes betrayed the ache of imposing such terms on a grandson she adored. She paused, drawing a slow breath, and drew parallels that sent ice through William's veins. She invoked Edward VIII, the abdication that had scarred the monarchy for generations, the choice of personal happiness over crown that nearly unravelled everything. The comparison was deliberate, a stark warning that history could repeat itself in uglier ways if Harry refused to bend. The echo of that long-ago crisis hung between them, amplifying the peril, making the stakes feel immediate and catastrophic. Inside her own heart, turmoil raged beneath the regal composure. She loved Harry with a depth few understood, cherished the spark that set him apart, yet she feared his actions were quietly eroding the very foundation she had spent decades strengthening. The conflict tore at her grandmother versus Queen, affection versus obligation, each side pulling until something had to give. Finally, with trembling hands, she pressed a sealed letter into his palm. Inside lay the full measure of the final chance, every detail spelled out in her careful script. She instructed him to guard it fiercely, to reveal its contents only when the moment demanded absolute clarity, when silence would cost more than truth. That moment, she implied with quiet certainty, was drawing near. Armed with the Queen's profound directive, William grappled with a storm of emotions, his loyalty tested like never before, leading to nights of sleepless anguish that would culminate in his daring public revelation. What happens when a future king must choose between blood and throne? Dive into Prince William's haunted psyche as he wrestles with the Queen's explosive secret about Harry's last shot at redemption. This isn't just duty, it's a soul-crushing dilemma laced with guilt, anger, and unspoken love. Prepare for raw, unfiltered glimpses into his private hell, where every decision risks eternal regret. Could this be the moment that breaks him? Isolation gripped William like a vice in those shadowed hours at Balmoral, his footsteps echoing through empty corridors as he replayed the Queen's solemn words over and over. Alone with his thoughts, he balanced on a razor's edge shield Harry from the fallout of his choices, or fortify the family's fragile legacy against inevitable cracks. The weight pressed down, turning triumph into torment. He had risen as the steadfast heir, yet success now tasted bitter, laced with the suffering of a bond frayed beyond repair. Sleepless nights blurred into days, each one amplifying the ache of what might be lost forever. Suspense thickened with sudden flashes of memory, pulling him back to shattered moments of Brotherhood Harry's abrupt exits, the empty spaces left behind that echoed with abandonment. Those departures weren't just physical, they carved hollows in William's heart, stirring a deep-seated fear that he had failed as the older sibling, the protector. Bonds once unbreakable now lay in ruins, and with each recollection, the sense of loss swelled, foreshadowing a reckoning where old affections could either mend or vanish entirely. In rare vulnerable confessions to Kate, emotion peaked raw and unbridled. He poured out his fears under the cover of night, her steady presence a balm against the storm. She listened, offering solace that clashed fiercely with his mounting resentment toward Harry's defiant path, the choices that seemed to mock the sacrifices William had made. Love for his wife grounded him, yet it highlighted the agony of division, her support a fleeting triumph amid the suffering of watching a family unravel. Tears came then, unbidden, as he grappled with the betrayal that cut deeper than any public scandal. The internal war escalated, thoughts clashing like thunder: honor the Queen's directive by holding firm, or defy it with a private outreach to Harry, chancing even greater rifts that could splinter the monarchy irreparably. Doubt gnawed relentlessly, would extending a hand heal, or invite more chaos. The conflict twisted inside him, blending guilt over past silences with anger at being thrust into this impossible role, every option laced with peril. Then, in quiet revelations drawn from hidden reflections perhaps scrawled in private journals, or whispered in solitude, emerged a secret layer of jealousy. William envying the freedom Harry had seized. The escape from the Crown's relentless grip that he himself could never claim. This admission added thorns to his hesitation, revealing a man not just dutiful but human, resenting the liberty that came at such a high cost to their shared world. Layer upon layer, the looming shadow of kingship intensified the strain, Charles's fading health accelerating William's ascent and forcing a maturity that robbed him of time to grieve or reconcile. Triumph in readiness clashed with personal suffering, the throne's call a double-edged sword slicing through his resolve. Yet in a haunting dream that shattered the night, the Queen appeared vivid and insistent, her voice urging bold steps forward, propelling him inexorably toward the public unmasking that would stun the globe and alter everything. Yet, even as William's resolve hardened, the shadow of Harry's own struggles loomed large, demanding we uncover the prince's perspective on this final chance that could either heal or destroy. Exiled in sun-soaked California, Prince Harry nurses wounds deeper than any tabloid headline. But what if his final chance is a trap disguised as salvation? This section peels back the layers of his defiant life, exposing the heartache, fury, and quiet hopes that fuel his fight. Brace for a no-holds-barred look at the rogue royal's soul, where every revelation twists the knife further. Is redemption possible, or is this the endgame? Far from the Crown's cold grasp, Montecito offered Harry a veneer of paradise, yet beneath the opulent calm lay a bastion of isolation where he pored over drafts of his tell-all tales, each word a reckoning with betrayals etched into his core. Luxury surrounded him, but it couldn't silence the echoes of palace deceptions, the sidelined roles, the scrutinized steps that drove him to this distant shore. Success in forging a new path clashed with the suffering of severed roots. He had escaped the machine, yet the price gnawed at him daily, turning quiet evenings into battles with ghosts from across the ocean. Uncertainty hung like a storm cloud, whispers of the Queen's message reaching him through fragmented rumors, ratcheting up the tension as he pondered his next move. Did he know the full weight of her words, or was it a partial shadow fueling his paranoia? The ambiguity built a relentless suspense, every unanswered question hinting at a response that could shatter alliances or ignite unforeseen fires, leaving him teetering on the edge of decision. Emotions surged in waves during those introspective lulls, pulling him back to tender flashbacks with the Queen, her gentle guidance during boyhood crises. The warmth of her embrace contrasting sharply with the icy distance now imposed by William's unyielding stance. Those memories ached like open wounds, Blending love's triumph with the betrayal's sting, she had been his anchor, yet the rift with his brother turned her legacy into a weapon, forcing Harry to confront how affection could sour into alienation. His war against the firm raged on, a defiant stand where he saw the final chance not as mercy, but as a cunning leash, laced with conditions that demanded submission over true reconciliation. The conflict boiled within fight the system that had stifled him, or bow to terms that mocked his hard-won autonomy. Independence had been his victory, a bold escape from suffocating protocols, yet it amplified the pain of exile, highlighting how every gain carried the shadow of loss. In hidden exchanges, fleeting calls, or cryptic notes, a secret willingness flickered, Harry signaling openness to mend fences, but strictly on his own ground, no compromises that echoed old oppressions. This revelation added a layer of intrigue, painting him not as irredeemable, but as a strategist in his own right, guarding vulnerabilities while plotting a path that could surprise even his detractors. Meghan's presence wove through it all, her strength bolstering his resolve and fueling his break from tradition, yet it tangled the web further, her empowerment clashing with family expectations that viewed her as the catalyst for discord. Together they built a fortress of self-reliance, triumphs in privacy contrasting the public suffering of severed ties. Then came the twist, a leaked whisper or chance encounter that pierced his seclusion, alerting him to William's brewing announcement and unleashing a tempest of rage and resolve within. With Harry's fate hanging by a thread, the stage is set for William's explosive disclosure, a moment that transforms private whispers into public pandemonium, forever altering the royal narrative. 3 minutes ago, under the relentless gaze of the world, William shattered the silence with words that could topple empires. What exactly did the Queen whisper about Harry's ultimate test? This pivotal section recreates the heart-stopping announcement, word for word, laced with tears and tension. Feel the shockwaves as secrets spill, because this isn't just a speech, it's a declaration of war on division, promising twists that redefine everything we thought we knew about the royals. The moment arrived like a thunderbolt, William stepping forward with resolve forged in fire, his voice breaking the hush as he invoked the Queen's exact plea. Harry must atone for the paths he's chosen, swear oaths of unwavering loyalty to the crown and kin, or risk severing the ties that bind us all. Each syllable hung heavy, a direct echo of her frail yet commanding directive, outlining a redemption laced with penance, public admissions of fault, a return to the fold stripped of external distractions. Triumph flickered in his delivery, the air finally voicing the unvoiceable, yet suffering shadowed every breath. The cost of exposing family fractures evident in his strained tone. Suspense crested with deliberate pauses, William halting mid-sentence to let the weight sink in, building a palpable anticipation that electrified the air. He teased layers slowly, first the conditions for Harry's reintegration, then the Queen's vision of unity restored, each revelation unfolding like a coiled spring, ready to unleash. The crowd leaned in, breaths held, as he peeled back the veil, hinting at depths yet unexplored, turning the announcement into a high-wire act where one wrong word could plunge everything into abyss. Emotion enveloped the scene, gasps rippling through the assembly like waves, tears mirroring William's own as vulnerability cracked his composure wide open. Listeners felt the raw immersion, his voice quivering with the highs of hope for reconciliation and the lows of lingering betrayal, a man bearing his soul under the world's unblinking eye. The collective heartache pulsed, triumphs of royal endurance clashing against the suffering of personal loss, drawing everyone into the vortex of a family's unraveling drama. Conflict detonated in bold strokes, William issuing implicit ultimatums that pierced the ether. Harry must forsake the allure of fame, the spotlight that had lured him away, and embrace the throne's embrace once more, or face exile eternal. The challenge rang out, a gauntlet thrown not in malice but in desperate plea, amplifying the divide while begging for its end. Success in upholding duty warred with the agony of potentially losing a brother forever. the explosion of tensions laying bare the monarchy's brittle core. Deeper secrets emerged, the Queen having confided hidden assets tucked away in trusts, roles within the realm Harry could reclaim if he bent the knee, promises of influence that sweetened the bitter pill. These additions layered the narrative, transforming her message from stark warning to a tapestry of opportunity and peril, each thread pulling tighter around the family's fate. Broader crises intertwined seamlessly, the announcement tying into succession anxieties that loomed like storm clouds Charles's vulnerabilities, hastening the need for solidarity. Fears of a weakened line if Harry remained adrift. The context swelled the drama, highlighting how one prince's choice could cascade into institutional upheaval, blending personal strife with the throne's precarious balance. In a cliffhanger twist that left hearts pounding, William alluded to his own potential, offering a profound personal concession, perhaps stepping aside in subtle ways or sharing burdens unspoken if Harry seized the chance. A hint that dangled redemption like a lure, promising seismic shifts ahead. Media chaos erupted in the aftermath, frenzy building as headlines brewed and speculations swirled, foreshadowing repercussions that would echo far beyond palace walls. As the dust from William's bombshell settles, the world holds its breath for the fallout ripples that could either mend the monarchy or plunge it into unprecedented chaos. With William's revelation ringing out, the House of Windsor teeters on the edge of oblivion. What if Harry's final chance is the spark that ignites total collapse? This section explores the seismic implications, from palace intrigue to public uproar. Dive into a whirlwind of speculation and strategy, where every move could crown victors or exile kings. The throne has never felt so fragile. Prepare for revelations that question the very survival of royalty. Shockwaves rippled through the inner sanctum immediately, royal aides darting into frantic huddles, their urgent murmurs betraying a scramble to contain the fallout before it consumed everything. Charles simmered in unspoken rage, his silence a thunderhead gathering force. The king caught between paternal disappointment and the imperative to preserve his reign. Triumphs of a unified front shattered against this new suffering, the family's polished image cracking under the strain of exposed vulnerabilities that no protocol could mend. Speculation swirled like a vortex, pulling minds into endless what-ifs. If Harry embraced the offer, could harmony return, forging a stronger bond from the ashes? Or would rejection unleash a cascade of defections, stripping the monarchy bare? The uncertainty built relentless suspense, each imagined path laced with peril acceptance promising tentative peace, yet demanding soul-deep concessions, refusal igniting scandals that could erode public trust forever. Outcomes dangled precariously, foreshadowing a turning point where one choice might elevate the throne or hurl it into irrelevance. Emotions surged through the masses, empathy twisting and turning as loyalties fractured. Some hearts leaned toward Harry's underdog plight, aching for his redemption, while others rallied behind William's steadfast call, their allegiance a balm against the chaos. The divide deepened wounds, triumphs of royal fascination clashing with the suffering of a public torn, each side feeling the raw pull of betrayal in a saga that mirrored their own hidden family rifts. Tradition buckled under the assault of contemporary forces, ancient rituals clashing headlong with demands for transparency and equality that Harry embodied so fiercely. The conflict roared to life-stiff protocols versus fluid modern values, the crown's rigid structure straining against the tide of change that threatened to wash it away. Success in enduring centuries now wrestled with the agony of adaptation, highlighting how clinging to the past could spell doom in a world hungry for relevance. Whispers of covert alliances emerged, shadowy figures within and beyond the palace rallying to Harry's cause, their subtle maneuvers hinting at a groundswell of support that could tip the scales unexpectedly. These secrets added intrigue, painting a picture of divided camps where loyalty wasn't absolute, but fluid and fraught with hidden agendas. History loomed large, layering the crisis with echoes of bygone exiles. Think of Wallace Simpson's shadow over Edward, or even earlier banishments that scarred dynasties. parallels that warned of cycles repeating with devastating precision. The context thickened the drama, blending past lessons with present peril, underscoring how one misstep could echo through generations. In a twist that sent pulses racing, murmurs hinted at impending moves from sidelined relatives, perhaps an aunt or cousin stepping from the wings to mediate or meddle, their intervention poised to reshape the board in ways no one anticipated. Yet, amid the turmoil, glimmers of hope emerge, leading us to ponder the ultimate resolution in this saga of fractured crowns and mending hearts. As the revelation fades into echoes, what lies ahead for Harry, William, and the crown? This closing chapter envisions the roads to reconciliation or ruin, painting a vivid picture of redemption's razor edge. Feel the pulse of possibility as we unpack the Queen's legacy in action. Will brotherhood prevail, or will this final chance seal their eternal divide? Strap in for an emotional finale that leaves you questioning everything. Hope flickers tentatively in the aftermath, a fragile light piercing the gloom that William's words cast across the realm. Picture Harry, humbled by reflection and perhaps the weight of his grandmother's final wish, stepping back onto British soil not as a prodigal rebel, but as a man ready to rebuild what he helped fracture. The brothers could stand side by side once more in a public embrace, the image searing itself into collective memory, two princes reclaiming shared purpose, their reunion a triumph over years of bitterness. Such a moment would pulse with raw emotion, the highs of forgiveness washing over the lows of past betrayals, offering the monarchy a chance to heal in full view of a watching world. Yet suspense coils tightly around every imagined step forward. Failure lurks in the shadows, Harry rejecting the terms outright, or accepting them only to chafe under the constraints, sparking a schism so deep it becomes permanent. The uncertainty gnaws relentlessly. One wrong move could transform tentative bridges into scorched earth, leaving the family forever estranged and the institution weakened by visible cracks. Triumph and suffering balance on a knife's edge, each scenario carrying the power to either restore faith or accelerate decline. In quieter moments, the Queen's influence lingers like a gentle yet unyielding force, her legacy woven into every potential outcome. Her wisdom, once delivered in hushed urgency to William, now echoes as a guiding star, reminding both brothers that love endures beyond pride, that duty need not crush the heart. Reflections on her life bring a bittersweet closure, her memory stirring tears of gratitude amid the pain, proving that even in absence she shapes destinies with quiet power. William emerges as the reluctant mediator, his role evolving from silent guardian to active bridge builder. He carries the burden of steering fragile conversations, balancing loyalty to the crown with lingering affection for his brother. The conflict softens here, not fully resolved, but tempered by shared grief and the Queen's parting directive, suggesting a path where mediation might finally outweigh division. Beneath the surface, secret hopes stir private messages exchanged in the days following the announcement, tentative overtures that hint at willingness on both sides to explore common ground. These whispers fuel intrigue, painting a picture of men wrestling privately with pride and pain, each gesture a small victory against the tide of estrangement. The broader ripples extend far beyond palace walls, reshaping the monarchy's image in profound ways. A successful reconciliation could revitalize public trust, proving the institution capable of evolution and grace, while persistent rupture might accelerate calls for reform or even irrelevance. Success and suffering entwine here too, the crown's endurance tested, its future hanging on whether healing prevails over fracture. Then comes the final twist that leaves breath suspended, word leaks of Harry's impending statement, a response poised to drop at any moment, carrying the potential to either seal reconciliation or ignite fresh turmoil. The anticipation crackles, unresolved and electric, pulling us to the brink. Though this chapter closes, the royal drama endures, inviting us all to witness what comes next in this timeless tale of power, pain, and possibility. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and we will see you in next one.